Actors, do you hate Shakespeare? Well, I hate you. Okay, well, you may be dead to me, but I still want to help you, and in this video we're going to look at the reasons why all actors should familiarize themselves with the techniques required to perform his and other classical texts, even if it's the last thing you're ambitious about doing in your career. So stay tuned. Okay, so a few weeks ago, my video on the common mistakes that you'll see from actors that are unfamiliar with speaking in heightened language was prefaced with a discussion of how it's not their accents, but their training method, putting text analysis at its center, that makes the British better at it. It's the business side of acting that dictates this because British theaters revere Shakespeare, while in America, realistic scripts are where the jobs are. But the one part of Mr. Van Tassel's analysis of this phenomenon that I did not get into was his observation that while actors trained in realistic speaking have difficulty adjusting to heightened language, those trained in the classics can easily adapt to realism. And that's why it's a mistake for any actors to neglect this training in the classics. We saw the importance of communicating the meaning of a hard-to-understand line to an audience, but one would assume that that's never a problem in easier texts, and that nobody would ever read them in a way that completely changes their meaning from the one the writer intended. And one would be wrong. Just listen to all the things people say in everyday life that confuse you unnecessarily simply by the way they say them. Things that they may understand, but they're certainly not helping you to by the way that they're saying them. You'll be watching a ball game where the Dodgers are leading the Giants 5-0, and then the Giants score a run and the announcer says, "So-and-so scores, and it is now 5-1 Dodgers." To somebody who's just tuned in on the radio, the decision to put the emphasis on the 5 is obviously going to lead them to believe that the team with 5 runs is the one that just scored. So familiarize yourself with how to communicate. Watch my earlier video if you haven't done so already. Watch others about performing Shakespeare, or just work on your reading comprehension skills. But taking courses in Shakespeare or just practicing your scene study with his works can be the simplest yet most effective method of helping you stay in practice with this obviously critical and yet so often neglected acting skill of communicating the meaning of your lines. As I said at the beginning of this video, mastering this skill will help you even if performing Shakespeare is not what you're looking to do in your career, because any speaking role that you hope to book requires you to do a better job of it than the clueless baseball announcer that we just looked at. And there are 2 specific types of acting jobs that are so much a part of any successful working actor's career that I'd like to focus on because they are also 2 areas where this neglected skill is so critically important. One is voiceovers. Now, this one may not be completely indispensable to a successful career, but the demand is skyrocketing in recent years, and I know I am not the only actor for whom voiceovers currently account for the majority of his or her income. And the thing is, when I first got into it, completely self-taught, practically every video on the subject that I watched on YouTube as a part of that self-teaching told me that you simply cannot make money in voiceover until you first invested in professional training. I think that the main reason my clients are consistently satisfied with the work done by somebody who has ignored this advice and never taken a class in voiceover is because one of my biggest strengths as an actor is the ability to communicate the message of their text, a task even more critical when the communication is all auditory, and something that I credit my consistent practice of Shakespeare to honing my skills in. But although voiceover is an incredibly lucrative thing for actors to pursue that this can help with, it's not absolutely essential to any career. But there is one thing that hardly anybody trying to make a living as an actor can neglect, where this neglected skill is just as crucial: commercials. This, of course, is a field that no actor says is what he wants to get into acting for, but anybody who knows the business knows that that's where the money is. And while a day player's failure to communicate the deepest motivation behind desk clerk number one's delivery of his one big line, "Do you have any bags to check, sir?" will probably not make or break the film, you better believe that it's important for you to communicate the message of your commercial, which, for those of you who have never seen a commercial before, is always some version of, "You should spend your hard-earned money on this shit." Again, you'd be surprised at how many people don't seem to understand this by the way they deliver commercial copy. Now, here I have taken classes on commercial technique because they're so important, where I saw total beginners performing, and I couldn't believe the things they had to be told about what word they needed to put the emphasis on in order to communicate the message of how tough life was before they discovered this product, how much the competitors' products they used to use sucked, etc., etc. Things that I thought were just so obvious. So actors, practice your text analysis so that you don't end up like this, and consider the power of Shakespearean scene study in doing so. And if you're looking for a good place to get that practice for free, consider reaching out to me about participating in my weekly Wheel of Shakespeare live streams here on this channel. Now, with a family emergency, we have been dark for a couple of months, but I do plan on starting up again soon, and we are always welcoming new players. If this video was helpful to you, please like, share, and subscribe, and tune in to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, returning soon on Saturdays, and consider even joining as a participant. Take care, and I'll see you next time.